Hey there. I thought I'd take a minute or two and let you know about a change that I just made to the purchase and sale agreement, actually sent to me by Joel Sangerman. So the next time you see Joel, buy him a drink for this change. It should have been made a long time ago. I just haven't gotten around to it, and Joel prompted me to do it. So here we go. This is when I'm buying or selling with owner financing using our purchase and sale agreement, which you can use anywhere in the country after you get your attorney to look over it once to see if he or she wants to make any changes on it. Most of the time they're pretty much accepted like they are. And this is for non-realtor use. So here we go. In paragraph 2B is where I made the changes. This is the paragraph that deals with owner financing. Now before you get to 2B, please note that paragraph 1E refers to owner financing. It says purchase money loan to seller on terms set forth in paragraph 2B. So whatever amount the seller is taking back with owner financing goes in 1E. Now we have to go down to 2B and figure out how to fill that paragraph out to define the terms of that note, so the attorney can actually write up the deed of trust or note to match your agreement. So let's go to 2B. It says the seller, by the way, if 2B is not checked, then it doesn't apply, so you always want to check in between the parentheses. It says the balance due to seller will be evidenced by a negotiable promissory note of borrower secured by a valid purchase money, and the end goes there. It will either say a first mortgage or deed of trust or a second, or you can use wrap. If there's no loan on the property and it's free and clear, it will always say first. If however there is a loan on the property and you are doing a wraparound mortgage or an all-inclusive trust deed referred to as an AITD, then it can either say second or it can say wrap, or it can say AITD. Your attorney needs to have something in that block so that he is clear on what position to record that note in. For example, if there's already a loan on it, it's not a problem. Whatever he records will be in second position. But what if you're giving the seller back a first and a second mortgage? Then he has to know who's in first. So just always put in there either first, if applicable, and it's always applicable if there's no underlying loan, or put in there a second or a wrap or an AITD, all basically meaning the same thing. All right, then it says mortgage or deed of trust on property and delivered to buyer, or delivered by buyer to seller, dated the date of closing, bearing annual interest rate of, if there is an interest rate, of course it goes right there. If it's a no interest loan, then you just put a line through that area right there to indicate that there is no interest, or you can put zero, any of the above. And payable blank dollars per month for blank years or blank months. I think that's self-explanatory. Just check in there what applies. And then it says privilege of prepayment does apply or does not apply. You always want it to say does apply. That means you can pay off the loan early with no prepayment penalty. When I'm selling, I do the exact same thing. I never charge a prepayment penalty anyway, so it's always does apply. The loan will be or not be due on sale. Now this is important. When I'm buying, I want to check not be due on sale. When I'm selling, I always check will be due on sale. Remember, we don't buy like we sell. So that means a due on sale clause will be inserted if I'm selling, but not inserted if I'm buying. So if I'm buying with owner financing and I want to sell it with owner financing, I can do so, but if that due on sale clause is in there, then that seller can call that loan due. And my friend, I'd rather that be in a bank loan than I would an individual loan. If the seller can call the loan due and they're human, that means they're driven by emotions. You probably have a better chance of them calling it due than any lender. So the best thing, don't leave it, don't put it in there. You must check not due on sale, because if you don't, your attorney will insert that clause because that's customary. Remember, when I'm buying, not due on sale. When I'm selling, always due on sale. So that I could enforce it if I wanted to, if they sold it with owner financing. And then it says, The payment, here's the new part that we just added now, because this is not in the one you may be accustomed to. It says the payment either includes or does not include, you have to check 1/12 of the annual taxes and insurance. That means that taxes and insurance are part of the payment you put in there in the dollars per month block that you just completed. And if you do not put that in there, then you will be paying taxes and insurance on top of that payment inadvertently, because it was not in here, therefore it escaped your thought process when you were filling out this contract. That's why I added it, because most of our students we were finding were just leaving it blank and ignoring it, and therefore they had to deal with it before closing when they found out their payment went through the roof when taxes and insurance were added on it. So right there you get to pick. It either includes or it does not include 1/12 of the taxes and insurance. When I'm buying, it almost always includes taxes and insurance. Now we have to figure out how much, so let's look at the next line. The balance will be principal only, or interest only, or principal and interest. So you get to check one. And if it's principal and interest, now somebody has to figure out, okay, how much of it is principal, how much of it is interest, how much is taxes, how much insurance. So I've made that easy for you here, because we don't know that answer when we're filling out this contract. You just won't. You don't even know for sure what the taxes and insurance are. So we said here taxes and insurance are included in the payment, whatever they may be. If it is a no interest loan, then obviously the whole balance goes to principal. But if it's principal and interest, you'll know the interest rate because you just filled it in the blank above. So it's up to you or your closing attorney later to figure out, okay, I know how much my taxes and insurance are. Now I know how much my interest is. Now whatever left is principal. And that would be agreed upon before closing between buyer and seller. Okay, sometimes the interest rate that you put in the paragraph is such that when computed, there's not enough interest left after taxes and insurance are taken out to pay that full amount of interest. So if you'll look down at the end of paragraph 2B, I've addressed that as well by adding the words, if after taxes and insurance are deducted from the payment, the remaining balance is not enough to cover the rate above, then it will be considered full interest payment and the rate adjusted accordingly. So now the attorney can just call everything left over interest and recalculate the rate that goes into the interest box on the note, and it's clear, so there's no arguments at closing about what the interest rate is or what the amount of interest is. Write this down. It's going to be important to you when you're filling this out. And I wished I could cover everything that could possibly go wrong in the process, but unfortunately I can't, so that's the best I can do for this lesson. I just wanted to call your attention to paragraph 2B and the new thing that we just added for your benefit. We are always working on your behalf here at Global Publishing, and as a Gold Club member, whenever we see an update, we'll put the update on there. So stay tuned. You never know when the next one's going to be.